stop it. No matter what I've seen in the past, I won't let it impact. I'll be grown now, baby.
Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel. This is going to be a new set of series called Ask a Midwife, as I am a traditional midwife. I am also a women's health and holistic wellness and spiritual practitioner, and I get so many questions on my Facebook, my Instagram, Blue Sky, on TikTok, which sadly is going to disappear soon, straight from my website, literally everywhere. And I wanted to be able to provide all of my clients and just everyone else with a place where you can get trusted answers from a Haitian woman who is Afro-Indigenous. I am practicing a lot of the things that I talk about. I am a traditional midwife, so I am in the community doing home births, taking care of women, guiding babies earthside. And so you may be wondering, what is a midwife? I have heard of them, but typically I kind of see them in different spaces. So let's get started on what is a midwife. So, what is a midwife? Now, there's a few different ways, pathways, let's say, that you can actually become a practicing midwife. Now, the most known, the framework, the foundation of labor, birth, and pregnancy, motherhood in general, is a true traditional community midwife, which I like to just say is just a midwife, a regular midwife, right? Those are the founding midwives of our worlds today. These are those indigenous in the community midwives who themselves don't have these training like we think a lot of OBGYN doctors would have, right? These women are a part of the communities. They are the healers of the communities. They are the grandmas, the aunties. They care and they love and they treat for every single person. They have literally guided most of the babies in the neighborhood, most of your parents, if anything, into the earth and brought you guys here, guided women with breastfeeding, and they are the elders of the community, right? And so that is like the base of what midwifery is. That is a true midwife. When you think about it as a whole, that is the true essence of a midwife, a woman that is in the community. A person, because there could be a man, okay? But a person that is within the community, caring for their people and really taking care of the people around them. So that is particularly who I am. Right now, there's an old-fashioned term that a lot of people like to use, which is a lay midwife. We don't use that. We don't use that over here, okay? Even the word lay is very derogatory. It means that you lack the experience and the knowledge of whatever you're doing. You're just kind of like, they just brought any old body here. And that is not the case. Traditional midwives are not just any old body. They are trained women. They have the expertise, they have the wisdom, they have the experience. That means they are trained. Just because they did not go to some prestigious school and graduate with a white coat does not make them any less qualified, okay? There's a lot of traditional midwives that can suture, that can take labs and draw blood and do all stitch and do all sorts of stuff. And so don't discredit or try to disqualify someone just because they're a traditional midwife. Our second kind of midwife is a certified professional midwife. Now, this is a more, let's say, new term in the midwifery world. And the reason why I say it's new is because traditional midwives have always been around, of course, but the West likes to make profit off of stuff. And you can't really make a profit off of the community, right? You have to find ways to infiltrate the community so you can make money off of them. And what's the best way to infiltrate the community? You disqualify and you demonize traditional midwives. You make home births seem like they are the scariest things to ever do as a woman, and you are absolutely a fool to give birth anywhere else other than a hospital. And so you have this kind of blend of this setting, let's say, and it's right in the middle between a traditional midwife and a certified nurse midwife, right? And so what this is like you kind of have a pass. Like, let's say everybody had, like, all the midwives, we all have the same badge, right? But because mine is pink, I only have access to so many things, right? Like I I can't take insurance right away. You can bill me. I will, you'll be able to get a reimbursement for our services, but I'm not like, a midwife who would be in the hospital where everything is right. Billing and coding, they got that right down my, the other corridor. But a certified professional midwife, there's certain things that they have, liabilities that they can actually do that technically a traditional midwife can't do, which I don't know. But essentially, they are very similar. The main or majority of the difference between these midwives is really the schooling, the kind of education that they received. Many times outside of traditional midwifery, a lot of the model of care is still the midwifery true model of care, but it's been kind of sliced and diced a little bit, right? I learned the indigenous way, Afro-Indigenous, Caribbean indigenous methods. And so it's different. It's very different from a CPM or certified professional midwife, but nonetheless, very, very similar. And a third kind of midwife is usually the most popular. And if you are going to an OBGYN office and you say you have a midwife, that is what your midwife is a CNM or a certified nurse midwife, which means this is a RN, a nursing student. Well, not just any nursing student, right? But this is a nursing student who has their master's degree in midwifery. And so that is where that comes in, right? They went through that extra training, that extensive work to really make sure that they have that model of care under their belt. But the only difference is a lot of CNMs usually work within the hospital, mainly because it's easier to get clients like that, right? You know that you'll always have someone coming in every single day to deliver a baby because about 100 women give birth in almost every hour. And so that's a lot of clients that you're going through as a CNM. And with that also, of course, liability. It is so much easier to get solid work, get a solid paycheck, a lot of these other benefits that you have because you went the Western model route, right? And I call it that because when you do that, you are a nursing student still. And so you are going through the RN training. You are going through those classes, you're reading those textbooks. These are the studies that you are having to sit and learn and repeat and, in theory, do as well. And so all of that is westernized, and we have to be honest with that. Especially if you're living in America like I am, all of our medical systems, as long as it is public or even private, as long as they don't outwardly say we are holistic or we practice alternative medicine and such, you can expect for it to be a very Western model. And the reason why I point that and make such a difference between traditional midwifery and a Western model form of midwifery is because of the fundamentals. Traditional midwifery is not about who you are, how much money you have, the luxuries of birth or labor or anything. It's about caring for people. It does not matter the kind of person you are, how much money you have. The fact that you can carry and have a child is enough for me. I don't care if I have to meet you in a rural suburbs or rural countryside or in a high rise in the middle of the city. I'm going to provide you with quality care because you are a human first. And that is it. And so when we think about, the Western model as well, there's a lot more medicine involved, a lot more interventions involved, and it's very, very hands-on. Meanwhile, traditional or even the CPMs, our model is more laid in the traditional route where it's kind of hands off. We focus a lot more on home births, or as people say, low risk births, but home births and kind of out of the hospital realm. So that could even be a birthing center as well, but out of the realm of the hospital for sure. And the point of that is that we want to really focus on the physiological sense of labor and delivery, of pregnancy, of motherhood as a whole. This journey, this entire chapter is such a beautiful one, but it's very spiritual. It's a very, very mental, tolling one as well. And so if you're not really aware of all of these very harsh, congruent things that will occur to you, pregnancy can be chaotic. It can be nerve-wracking. It could be annoying. It could be all of these other negative entities. but it doesn't have to be. And that's the wonderful thing about me as a midwife, is that I'm here to teach and educate, empower, inspire, and support women who otherwise would have thought that they couldn't do it. And so I am here to provide that support. But those are the 3 kinds of midwives that are out there. If you have any questions, comments, and you want to know more about these different pathways, or even if you yourself are interested in birth work, maybe you want to be a doula, or in my case, a birth keeper, or you yourself want to get into midwifery, but you don't necessarily want to go the CPM route, you don't want to take the NARM exam, but you do have a preceptor. Maybe you are taking an apprenticeship program and you love that route, but you don't necessarily want to take the test for it. I would love to assist you in absolutely anything that you have. Like I always say, I'm here to build a community. And so if you like that, if you want to build a community too, come along for the ride. But that is it for today's video. I hope I see you guys next time. Bye.
Can't let it slip away, drift away, can go to waste, go to waste.